If you think showing up to your baby daddy's office with his secret child is dramatic, wait until you hear what his mother called her granddaughter to her face. Hit that subscribe button, because this gets wild. Father. The word dropped like a grenade in the marble lobby of Apex Global Technologies. Park Min-ho's phone slipped from his hand, shattering against the floor. His face drained of every drop of color as he stared at the 11-year-old girl standing 15 feet away, box braids cascading down her back, features that screamed soul despite her London accent. She looked exactly like him. Time stopped. Every employee in that lobby froze mid-step. Phones appeared in hands. Security guards reached for their radios. The youngest CEO in the company's history, Forbes Asia's rising titan, the man who'd built an empire before turning 32, stood there looking like someone had just told him his entire life was a lie. Because it was. Next to the girl stood Chinwe Okafor, a Nigerian woman in a modest winter coat, chin lifted like royalty, watching the man who'd ghosted her 12 years ago finally face what he'd run from. She felt every eye in that lobby burning into them, but she didn't flinch. Her daughter squeezed her hand, sensing the shift in the air, that electric moment before everything detonates. "No," Min-ho whispered, his voice barely audible. "This cannot be real. You're not supposed to exist." "Then perhaps you should look at your daughter," Chinwe said, her voice cutting through the silence. "Actually look at her, Min-ho." Around them, the lobby erupted into whispers. Phones were recording now, openly. This wasn't just drama. This was a scandal in real time. Naomi, coached by her mother but still nervous, stepped forward and bowed with perfect formality. "It is an honor to finally meet you, Father. My name is Park Naomi, and I am 11 years old." Then she switched to flawless Korean, her pronunciation cutting like glass. "I have waited my entire life for this moment." The whispers exploded into gasps. Min-ho stumbled backward, his hand gripping the wall for support. His face cycled through shock, disbelief, recognition, and finally landing on pure panic. "You kept this from me," he said, his voice rising with each word. "You concealed my own child for 11 years? 12 years, Chinwe corrected, ice in her tone. "And I didn't conceal anything. Your family made it crystal clear that we were unwanted complications. Or did you forget when your mother offered me £70,000 to disappear?" "That's not." He stopped, finally registering the crowd forming, the phones recording, the security team speaking urgently into their radios. "Upstairs. Conference room. Now." "Don't you dare click away, because what happens in that elevator and conference room will make your jaw drop. Smash that like button if you're already hooked." He moved like a man walking to his own execution, leading them to the elevator. Naomi pressed against her mother's side, her earlier confidence cracking. In the mirrored elevator walls, the truth reflected back undeniable and unavoidable. She had his exact face. Same sharp jawline, same intense eyes that calculated everything, even that stubborn cowlick that refused to stay flat. "Mother, have I upset him?" Naomi whispered in English. "Korean, my darling. And no, he's simply shocked. This is overwhelming." But Chinwe was lying through her teeth. She could see the terror in his rigid spine, the white-knuckled grip on his briefcase. He wasn't just shocked, he was absolutely terrified. The conference room overlooked Seoul like a kingdom, Min-ho's empire sprawling below them, a universe away from the cramped Manchester flat where they'd once shared instant noodles and dreams of forever. He collapsed into a chair, his hands visibly shaking. How old? 11. She turns 12 in April. 12 years after Chinwe had fled England. 12 years after his mother had called her a gold-digging distraction trying to trap her brilliant son. Her name is Naomi. Middle name Jisoo. The name we chose together that freezing night when the heater was broken and you had your hand on my belly, whispering lofty promises. Or have you erased that from your memory? Min-ho's breath caught, his eyes closing briefly. "Why now?" he asked, his voice raw. "After 12 years of silence, why appear now?" "Because I asked about my father," Naomi interjected, her voice steady. "And Mother explained that I deserved to understand my origins, regardless of how complicated the truth might be." Min-ho's eyes snapped to her, this bold girl who'd clearly inherited every ounce of his stubbornness. "You speak Korean?" "Yes, and English." "That's impressive. Mother speaks 5 languages. I assumed you would speak at least 4. The disappointment in her voice was palpable. Despite the chaos, Minho almost smiled. What's the fifth? Love. She says it's the most essential one, especially when people forget how to speak it. The door burst open without warning. A woman glided in, late 20s, designer everything, moving like she owned the space. She froze when she saw them, her smile dying on her lips. Her eyes travelled from Minho's devastated face to Naomi, then landed on Chinwe. I was informed you were in a critical meeting, but... She stopped. Who are these people? Yuna, this isn't the right time. I can explain everything. Explain what? Who is this woman? Who is this child? Her voice faded as she finally saw it. Really saw it. The child was Minho's carbon copy. Naomi stepped forward, extending her hand with a bright smile. Hello, I'm Naomi. Are you a friend of my father's? Friend? Yuna's voice strangled on the word. I'm his fiancée. The word exploded in the space between them. Naomi's smile shattered. She looked at her mother, confusion flooding her face. But you said father wasn't married. Not yet, Yuna said, her eyes locked on Minho like a sniper's sight. We're getting married in 4 weeks. Were you planning to mention your secret daughter before the wedding, or was this going to be a surprise at the reception? I had no idea she existed. Don't. Yuna held up a hand. She's 11 years old, Minho. 11. When exactly were you going to tell me you have a child? Before Minho could answer, the door opened again. 2 people entered with the kind of commanding presence that comes from generations of old money and older power. The woman wore a custom hanbok-inspired suit that screamed exclusive boutique. The man's watch could have funded a small business. Minho's parents. Chinwe recognized them instantly. The elegant woman who'd looked at her pregnant belly like it was a tumor. The stern man who'd slid that check across the table with instructions to handle the situation discreetly. They started speaking rapid-fire Korean to their son, clearly furious, their words tumbling over each other in a cascade of anger. Then they saw Chinwe. Mrs. Park's face went through shock, recognition, and settled on pure rage. You, she hissed. What are you doing in my son's building? Naomi, still clinging to innocent hope, stepped forward with outstretched arms. Grandmother! Mother has told me so many wonderful stories about finally meeting you. Do not touch me. Mrs. Park recoiled like Naomi carried a disease. The room went dead silent. Chinwe watched her daughter's face. Confusion rippled across those features. Then hurt. Then something harder, colder settling in. Childhood innocence cracking in real time. Naomi, Chinwe said softly. Come here, sweetheart. But I only wanted to greet grandmother. Now, Naomi. Her daughter returned to her side, but the damage was done. She'd seen the rejection. She'd felt it pierce straight through her heart. Mrs. Park turned to her son, unleashing a torrent of Korean, too rapid for most people to follow. But Chinwe understood every single word. She'd spent years learning the language, preparing for exactly this moment. Make them vanish, pay whatever it takes, but remove them from our lives immediately. Mother, do you understand what this could do to our family? To the company? To your engagement? Naomi's voice cut through like a blade. She's talking about us like we're garbage to be thrown away, isn't she? Everyone froze. The 11-year-old had understood every word. Mrs. Park's face flushed crimson. You taught her Korean? I taught her everything, Chinwe said quietly, deadly. About respect, about family, about her heritage. Both sides, including the side that wanted nothing to do with her. How dare you? How dare I what? Raise your granddaughter alone? Teach her to be proud of who she is? Not disappear when you paid me to. Mr. Park spoke for the first time, his voice cold as winter. You took our money. Your son's money, the £70,000 he wired to make me go away. I used it for prenatal care, hospital bills, and creating a safe home for our daughter, every single pound documented. I have receipts. Minho's face went white. You kept receipts? I kept everything. Chinwe pulled out her phone. Bank statements, medical records, photos of every birthday, every school play, every achievement you missed. 12 years of evidence that I never needed your money. I needed your son to be a father. And what do you need now? Mrs. Park demanded. More money? Naomi stepped forward, all childish hope gone from her face. We don't want your money. We want what every child wants, to know their family. But Mother was right. You don't see me as family. You see me as a problem. You are a problem, Mrs. Park snapped. A scandal, a mistake that should have been eliminated. Enough! The word came from Minho, but it was weak, pathetic. His father laughed, bitter and cruel. This woman shows up with a child, claims it's yours, and you just believe her? Look at her face, father. Minho's voice cracked. Look at her and tell me she isn't mine. Everyone looked at Naomi. The resemblance was impossible to deny. DNA tests exist, Mrs. Park said coldly. Perfect. Chinwei's voice was pure ice. Test her. Test me. Test whatever gives you certainty. But understand this, I didn't come here begging. I came because my daughter requested to meet her father. After today, whether she ever wants to see any of you again will be entirely her choice, not yours. She took Naomi's hand. We're leaving. Wait. Yuna's voice stopped them cold. She stared at Minho with something between pity and absolute disgust. Is it true? Is she really yours? Minho couldn't speak. His mouth opened, but nothing came out. Answer me. Is she your daughter? Yes. The word came out broken, barely a whisper. Yes, she's mine. Yuna pulled off her engagement ring, 4 carats flawless, and placed it on the conference table with a soft click that echoed like a gunshot. Then I sincerely hope she's worth it, she said quietly, her voice trembling with rage and hurt, because you just lost everything else. Your engagement, your family's approval, probably half your company when this hits the news. She turned to leave, then paused at the door, looking back at Chinwei and Naomi. For what it's worth, Yuna said, her voice softer now, she has his eyes, and apparently his courage, which is more than I can say for him. She walked out, heels clicking against marble like a countdown. The silence that followed was deafening. Mrs. Park turned to Chinwei, her face contorted with rage. You've destroyed everything. My son's engagement, his reputation, our family's standing. I hope you're satisfied. I'm not satisfied, Chinwei said, her voice steady despite the chaos. I'm exhausted. Exhausted from 12 years of raising our daughter alone. Exhausted from explaining to her why her father never came to her birthday parties. Exhausted from watching her search for his face in every crowd. She looked at Minho, who sat there like a broken statue. You have a choice now, Minho. You can let your parents dictate your life like they've always done, or you can be a father to your daughter. But let me be clear, I didn't come here to force you into anything. I came here to give Naomi what she asked for, the truth, and the truth is standing right in front of you. Mr. Park stepped forward, his voice threatening. If you think you can extort this family... I think, Chinwei interrupted, that your son made a choice 12 years ago. He chose to send money instead of showing up. He chose his family's approval over his child, and now he gets to make another choice. She looked at Naomi, whose eyes were filled with tears she refused to let fall. Come on, baby. We've said what we came to say. Wait, Minho finally spoke, his voice hoarse. Just wait, please. Chinwei paused at the door but didn't turn around. I need time, Minho said, to process this, to figure out. You've had 12 years, Chinwei said, finally turning to face him. Naomi has waited 12 years for you to figure it out. How much more time do you need? The door opened suddenly, and a young assistant rushed in, tablet in hand, face pale with panic. Sir, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we have a situation. Someone recorded everything that happened in the lobby. It's already trending on social media. The hashtag Aplex secret hair is #1 in Korea. Mrs. Park's face went white. What? The video has 3 million views in the last 20 minutes. News outlets are calling. The board is demanding an emergency meeting. Mr. Park grabbed the tablet, his hands shaking as he watched the video. The lobby confrontation. Naomi calling Minho father. The resemblance undeniable in high definition. This is a disaster, he whispered. No, Naomi said, her voice cutting through the panic, stronger than any 11-year-old's should be. This is the truth. And the truth isn't a disaster. It's just uncomfortable for people who've been living a lie. She looked at Minho, her father, this stranger who shared her face. I don't need you to love me right away. I don't even need you to want me. But I needed to look you in the eye and know that I exist to you. That I'm not just a secret you buried. Now here's where things get insane, and you won't believe what Minho's mother does next. Drop a comment right now telling me if you think Minho deserves a second chance, and make sure you're subscribed because part 2 is coming, and it will wreck you. I'm talking family secrets, shocking revelations, and a twist that nobody saw coming.